Okay, so very welcome everyone that's doing this live or on demand. We're going to continue yoga, gentle yoga, restorative yoga to support mental health for the rest of this week, maybe even the month. We'll see how we go. And specifically, kind of targeting the common human conundrums that sometimes come up in our mental health. So things like anxiety, stress, self doubt, and over worrying. So we'll kind of explore practices to, I don't like to say alleviate, but relieve some of those symptoms, because let's be honest, it's just going to be impossible to alleviate or avoid any of these symptoms. So we're going to come into a pranayama to begin with, and it's quite a powerful pranayama, especially if you've been experiencing a lot of anxiety at the moment. So get yourself into a comfortable seated position. I highly recommend that you make sure that you're warm, that your spine is straight, but there's a sense of relaxation also through the shoulders. If you want to lean back onto something so that your spine has a bit more support, absolutely fine too. And then just have a little check in with yourself. So if you feel like anxiety and stress are a little bit high at the moment and you need a bit of grounding, then flip the palms to face down. If you feel like you're a little bit low on energy, maybe even low on mood, and you need a bit of an uplift, then flip the palms to face up. So we're kind of matching the palms to our energy right now. Closing the eyes if that feels appropriate, or just relaxing the gaze downwards. Taking a breath in through your nose and exhale, sigh it out through the mouth. And again, inhaling to fill up. Exhaling, releasing. Might even be a sigh out. And we'll take that for one more breath in. Hold at the top of the breath, retain that inhale. And then exhale, letting go, letting go, letting go. Let the breath resume back to its natural rhythm. Let your senses be awake. You might feel the movement of the breath in the heart area, belly area. And dropping your awareness into your heart space so that you can begin to collect the attention in the heart area. Feeling the experience of your heart right now. Relaxing any judgment. And then with that little check-in, let there be a gentle inquiry. What is my intention for this practice, or my sankalpa for this practice? What is it that really brings me here? And letting yourself get in touch with whatever feels most sincere for you, no pressure whatsoever. And then I want you to create or mold this practice today to support that intention. We're going to gently, gently open the eyes. And then we'll move into humming the breath, or Bhramari breathing from here. So we're going to take 10 rounds of Bhramari breathing today, specifically to relieve some of that anxiety from by stimulating that vagus nerve in the throat. So I'm going to offer 5 breaths with the hands on the knees or thighs, and then an additional 5 breaths with the hands either cupping around the ears, or you can cup the hands around the eyes. So you just see what feels best for you. You might even want to try it out now and see what feels best. And then when you're ready, we're going to inhale through your nose and then exhale with a humming sound. Sounds something like this, breathing in. Exhale. Keep going until all of the breath has left the body. If you feel like you need to pause at any point, please feel free to do so. We're going to take 10 rounds. Empty out all of the air out of your body on the next breath out. Then inhale through your nose to fill up. Exhale, humming. Just breathe in whenever you feel ready. Keep going. I'll let you know when we're halfway. Once you finish the next breath in, hands around the ears or the eyes. Last breath here. Finish off that breath, and we'll bring our hands into Hridaya Mudra, one palm in front of the other. Place it on the chest area. Relax the elbows and the shoulders. Maybe close the eyes. Let the breath resume back to normal. Having a little check-in and seeing what's been awakened within you. Where can you feel the body the most right now? Letting the stillness, the silence just kind of wash over you. And when you feel ready, we'll gently make our way into a forward fold. So just moving the hands very gently down away from the heart space. And just take a moment here if you want. And then lifting yourself up into a standing position, slide the blanket to one side. And then if you've got some blocks that you like to use in forward fold, maybe bringing them underneath the shoulders. Otherwise, just letting the arms hang here. You might even explore interlacing the fingers and letting the palms rest at the nape of the neck. Really feeling that connection to the earth through the feet, front, back, side, side. And maybe you incorporate a gentle sway of the upper body from side to side. Just acknowledging that there might be some things here with you after that pranayama. Perhaps some triumphs, some joys, some excitements from the week, month, year previous. Maybe some sadness, some disappointment, restlessness, frustration. Just letting all of it be here, just roll off the spine with the exhale breath. Take a breath in through your nose. And then exhale through your mouth. Start to bring some movement into the legs, a gentle straightening of one leg and bending into the other. Letting any holding through the upper body release a little bit more. Let's take one more inhale here. And exhale here. And we'll slowly bring the hands down, back down towards the mat. So slide the blocks forward if they're underneath. Palms come down. I'm going to bring the left knee down underneath the left hip, right knee down underneath the right hip. Scoot the hips back towards the heels and come into your child's pose. Maybe the forearms form a little pillow underneath the head. Maybe you rest the forehead on the ground. And just have a sense of the physical body releasing down into the support of the earth right now. The earth is there to hold you up at times that you don't want to hold yourself up. And start to smooth out our breathing once more. And then we're going to slowly lift back up to hands and knees. Lovely. Moving into a few versions of thread the needle here. So as we inhale, right hand stays as it is. We're going to pick up the left hand, bend the left elbow. So the left elbow comes in line with that left shoulder, lifting up towards the ceiling. And exhale, thread that left arm underneath the right and just pause before the left ear hits the ground. Now do that 3 more times with the breath. So as we inhale, left elbow lifts up. You might even start to look up at that left elbow and exhaling to thread and pause. 2 more breaths, breathing in. It might be a slight open through the chest and then exhale to twist. 1 more breath in here and exhale. Lovely. This time a little bit different. As we inhale, left arm reaches all the way up, twist over towards the left. Exhale, we're going to transition into thread the needle. Thread that left arm all the way underneath the right. Left ear comes down towards the ground. Right arm can walk forwards. Maybe it sweeps behind the back of the body. I'm going to add on an option here if you wish. Right leg starts to lengthen back, coming onto the ball of the back foot, back heel is lifted. Just gives you a little bit more leverage to twist the body even further over towards the right. Take a breath in. Exhale, letting go. Breathing and coming back into the body. So we're kind of utilizing asana, we're utilizing physical postures to remind us that we're here in the present moment. Let's take one more breath in here. And carefully, if you've got that right leg lengthened back behind you, we're going to rebend that right leg. Palm comes in front of the face, press down through the palm. You might take another twist over towards the left if you want, reaching left arm up. Then exhale, left hand comes all the way down. Let's take that on the other side. So as we inhale, right palm peels off the mat, right elbow reaches up towards the ceiling. You might even take it a little bit further than the shoulder, open through the chest. Then exhale, right arm threads underneath the left. Let's take that 3 more times. So really working with the breath here, synchronizing movement to breath, breathing in, right elbow lifts. Exhale, right arm threads. 2 more times. Maybe you want to relax the gaze or just close the eyes, really start to work with your own breath. One more time, inhale, right elbow lifts, peel the chest open. Exhale, right arm threads. This time a little bit different. As we inhale, right arm reaches up. Let the right fingertips float up towards the ceiling this time. Exhale, thread the needle. Right arm threads all the way underneath the left. Left fingertips can walk forwards. Maybe it just stays in front of the face. You might want to stay with that left palm in front of the face if you're taking that option of reaching that left leg back behind you. Coming onto the ball of the back foot, back heel is lifted. Softening with the exhale breath. Nice slow breath in. And an exhale here. Anchor yourself back into the body. One more inhale here. Carefully rebend that left leg if you've lengthened it back. Let the palm arrive back in front of the face. Lift yourself all the way up to hands and knees. Maybe you swing another twist over towards the right. And exhale, right hand comes all the way down. We're going to carefully pad the hands forwards towards the top of the mat. Lie the front of the body all the way down. And we'll take a Sphinx Yin position here. So we're going to hold this a little bit longer than we regularly do in our normal kind of flow classes. So set yourself up nice and comfy, elbows roughly underneath the shoulders. You might want to take the feet a little wider than you normally do, maybe about that distance apart, toes pointing back. You can press down through the forearms here. Some people like to interlace the fingers. Slight squeeze of the bum, lifting up through the chest. And I want you to really relax a little bit through the shoulders, through the rib cage. So yes, we're back bending, but there's also simultaneously a sense of softening. Take a little sweep through the body and softening as we go, relaxing that little space between the eyebrows. Let the jaw go slack. Shoulders are melting down the back of the body as the heart radiates forwards. Let the breath naturally slow. There might be a drive here, really, to reach for a deep sensation. I just encourage you to rest on the edges of sensation. So we're just kind of letting the body relax into it. Okay. For the last minute in this pose, you're very welcome to stay as you are. If you want to take it into a slightly deeper back bend, we're going to scoot the palms a little bit further forwards than the mat. So maybe the fingertips just come off the mat. Take them as wide as the mat here. Press down through the palms to lift the elbows and you come into seal position. This feels too much for you, just let the hands or the palms slide forwards. So it's not as a deep back bend. Lifting through the chest, squeeze the bum if you're in your seal pose. Take a breath in and a breath out. 3 more breaths. Keep the glutes activated if you've lifted up into your seal pose. So strong through the low back. One more inhale here. Exhale, keep lifting. Once you finish that exhale breath, just let the upper body melt down towards the ground. And we'll take a rest position. Forearms or palms come underneath the head. Turn the head to one side. Maybe chin, cheek comes down instead. A little wiggle of the bum. Maybe you lift the feet or toes up towards the ceiling and just windscreen wiper the feet from side to side. Letting the abdomen be heavy. So there's a sense of pressure from the earth in towards the abdomen area. And that slight pressure that you feel there helps to stimulate the vagus nerve once more. Vagus nerve is responsible for stimulating the relaxation response in the parasympathetic nervous system. So really allowing the weight of the upper body to sink down. 2 more breaths in here. Carefully let the legs fall back. Hands come underneath the shoulders on the inhale. Exhale, we're going to push back through hands and knees, and we're going to come into a balance from here. So balance really requires all our attention. So really bringing the attention back into your body. We're going to take it step by step, shifting weight into your left leg as you lengthen that right leg back behind you. So we're going to keep it lifted, maybe heel in line with knee or hip. Flex that foot almost like you're about to step back onto a wall, but you never quite get there. Option to stay here. Maybe the opposite arm, left arm starts to reach forwards too. Keep a slight tuck of the chin. Left arm forwards, right leg back. Take a breath in. Exhale, option to stay here, or maybe that left arm reaches back behind you. You bend the right leg, take a hold of inner edges of feet, toes, ankle, whatever you have a hold of. If you have a hold of the foot, push the foot into the hand into the foot, and see if you can lift that right knee a little bit higher. Gentle back bend. Take a breath in and a breath out. Squeeze that right bum cheek towards the left. See if you can lift that right knee a little bit higher. Feel that resistance between foot and hand. One more inhale. Exhale, like nothing ever happened. We'll release the foot. Right knee comes down, left hand comes down. Just take a moment in your child's pose, just as a release and a relaxing counter pose. Some inhales through the nose and some exhales through the mouth might feel quite nice. And you can keep the hands as they are. If you want to stretch out the wrists a little, flex the hands. So not toes, fingers point up towards the ceiling, heels of the hands press forwards. Take a breath in and a breath out. One more inhale. And exhale here. Let the hands come back down towards the ground if they're not already there. Or inhale, lift back up to hands and knees. Exhale, scoot the wrists underneath the shoulders, knees beneath hips, and we'll take that balance on the other side. So just forget what happened on one side. I'm going to start with beginner's eyes, beginner's mind. Left leg lengthens back behind you. We're going to flex through that left foot. Really lengthen through the back of the left leg. Press the heel back, toes pointing down, squeeze that left bum cheek. Maybe staying here, right arm might reach forwards, opposite arm reaches forwards. Belly lifted, chest lifted. Option to stay here. Maybe you bend that left leg, reach the right arm back behind you, grab the inner edge of left foot, toes, ankle. This side might feel a bit different. If you have a hold of the foot, see if you can really push the foot into the hand, hand into the foot. That should give you a natural lift up through that left knee. Squeeze that left bum cheek. Take a breath in. And a breath out. Keep resisting. Foot into the hand into the foot. Left knee lifts a little higher. One more inhale. Exhale. Release that left knee down. Right hand comes down. And this time, scoot the hips back towards the heels. We're going to take a little bit more of a stretch in our child's pose. So option to stay here in child's pose. Arms reach forwards. If you want a little bit more of a stretch to the front of the armpits, scoot the arms a little bit closer towards the head. And then bend the elbows. Fingertips reach up towards the ceiling as the palms join above the head. Take a breath in. And releasing breath out. Feel what's been awakened through the body. Feeling into the back and the sides of your rib cage as you breathe. Take 2 more breaths in here. And carefully release the arms forwards. We're going to inhale, slide the hands back towards the knees. Exhale, sit back towards your heels. If you're like, oh, Tash, not quite feeling this vibe, then you can stack 1 block or 2 in between the legs, and you can sit back on towards the block. If you're still like, not quite feeling this vibe, just come into a comfortable cross-legged position, as long as your spine is erect, shoulders are relaxed, slight tuck of the chin. We're going to inhale, sweep the arms behind the back of the body, and exhale, interlace the fingers. Inhale, knuckles extend down as you straighten the arms, shuffle the shoulder blades down the back. Exhale, staying here. Maybe there's a slight lift up in the breastbone. So it's a really subtle lift here. We're not kind of sending the chest forwards too much. It's more of an upward lift of the chest. Staying here, or maybe the head ever so slightly tilts back as you open through the neck and the throat. Again, very subtle movement. Take a breath in and a breath out. See if you can soften through the muscles, through the jaw, shoulders. Keep opening through the front of the heart, just a very subtle opening and lifting. 1 more inhale. Exhale here. And gently tuck the chin in towards the chest, release the shoulders, come back to a neutral spine. A little bit different this time. Inhale, interlace the fingers in front of the chest. Exhale, we're going to uplift the energy. Arms reach up and overhead as your palms reach up towards the sky. Find some relaxation through the shoulders here. So there's no hiking up the shoulders up towards the ears. See if you can melt them down the back of the body, slight tuck of the chin. Take a breath in here. Option to stay here, or maybe you come into a gentle cat-cow movement. So as we exhale, we sit down towards the back of the bum. Start to round through the spine a little, drop the chin towards the chest and push the palms forwards. And as we inhale, we rise up nice and slow. Palms reach up towards the ceiling. Maybe you lift up through the breastbone, lift up through the chin. Then exhale to dome and round through the spine. Sit towards the back of the bum, head and neck heavy, palms push forwards. 2 more times with your breath. Getting lost in that movement meditation. Pushing the palms forward, feeling that stretch through the back of the shoulder blades. Let's take that for one more breath in. And exhale, breath out. Lovely. And as we inhale a little bit different, let the palms reach up. Exhale, release the fingertips, take up space and time, and just let the arms, the shoulders, just kind of melt down on its own accord. Lovely. Take a couple of shoulder rolls, nice and slow to release some tension, some tightness. And then we'll come into our first and only dynamic posture in this practice. We're going to come up to a downward facing dog. So we're going to hold it for a little bit longer than we normally do. So slide any blocks out the way. Keep your socks on if you want. We're not going to be doing anything too dynamic in terms of standing. You can spread the fingers wide, tuck the toes, lift the knees up towards the ceiling, come into your inverted V. So say hello to your hamstrings here. Bend the legs as much as you need to send the spine to send the bum up towards the ceiling. See if you want to stay here in stillness today, or maybe bring a little bit of movement. Bring one heel down and the other very gently, nodding the head yes and no. Any movements to help you feel a bit more safe and comfortable in this pose. If you want to shake it up a little bit, maybe take the feet as wide as the mat, hands as wide as the mat. Sometimes it's nice to take a different kind of alignment stance. And most importantly, smooth out your breathing. Softening with the breath in, softening with the breath out. I want you to take 5 more breaths in here. So either in movement or in stillness, totally up to you. Maybe you're breathing in for the count of 4 or 5. And exhaling for the same count of 4 or 5. Staying present for any little trembles, little shakes through the body as you hold this shape. Using the breath to steady you, to anchor you. Two more breaths. Last breath in. And exhale out. And as we inhale, drop the knees down towards the mat, untuck the toes. Exhale, scoot the hips back towards the heels, let the arms stretch forwards, lift the palms off the ground, and then making little fists with the hands, just roll the wrists out in one direction and the other, just to stretch out your wrists. And then rest the palms back down, wrists back down when you're ready. Maybe flip the palms to face up for receiving. And just take a moment here. So spending some time in a supported inversion or any inversion like a downward facing dog for a little bit longer can help to, again, stimulate that parasympathetic nervous system. observing any sensations of lightness, tingling, relaxing through the body. Letting the vocabulary of the body kind of speak to you. Let's take one more breath in here. And as we exhale, we're going to gently make our way into a seated position. So, however you want to do that, you might slide the hands back towards the body and then scoot the bum off the heels. Let the legs reach forwards. Lovely. Give them a little shake if you want. And we're going to do a little bit of lengthening through the hamstrings, but also unwinding through the upper back. So keeping the left leg straight, we're going to cross the right ankle over the left. So it's almost like you're crossing your legs when you're kind of seated. Right ankle crossed on top of the left. Let the left hand just rest by the left hip. We're going to inhale, right arm reaches up. And then exhale, scoot yourself forwards, so folding forwards, and grab a hold of the inner edge of the right foot, right toes, or right ankle. So if you have a hold of the foot, push the foot into the hand, hand into the foot, so you can feel that resistance. Keep pushing foot into hand, hand into the foot, and you should feel just a little bit of stretch through the upper back here, a bit of stretch into the shoulder blades. You can let the head relax down, whatever feels more comfortable for you. Take a breath in and a breath out. You might work with the breath. Inhale to rise up through the spine. Exhale to soften. Keep pushing hand into foot, foot into hand. One more inhale here. Exhale here. Now we're going to carefully slide the hand up the length of that right leg. So it just slides all the way up nice and slow. Then we'll uncross that right leg. And we'll do the same on the other side. So left ankle this time crosses on top of right. So make sure both ankles are touching. This time right hand just rests by your right hip. Gentle flex with both feet if you can. Inhale, left arm reaches up. Exhale, tilt the pelvis forwards. Reach forwards with your left hand. Grab a hold of the inner edge of the left toes, left foot, left ankle. If you have a hold of the foot, push the foot into the hand, hand into the foot. So really feel that resistance here. Feeling that stretch transfer into that little mini part of the shoulder blades. Connecting left shoulder blade to right shoulder blade. Keep pushing foot into hand, hand into the foot. This is around the time that I stop breathing. So just make sure you're still breathing. Nice slow breath. In. Exhale here. 2 more breaths. Lovely. And carefully release the foot. Slide the hands all the way up the length of the leg. And then we're going to come into Baddha Konasana from here. So soles of the feet together, knees apart. You always have blocks to support the inner thighs or the inner knees. The outside of the thighs or the outside of the knees if you want. You can take the stretch a little bit deeper by scooting the bum a bit closer towards the feet. If you want to take it a bit more chilled, scoot the bum a little bit further away. Hands on towards the knees, not knees, ankles, or interlacing the fingers around the toes. We're going to take Baddha Konasana A first with a nice straight spine, and then transition into B, cat-like spine. So as we inhale, there's a sense of the chest charging forwards as the bum grounds down towards the earth. Take an inhale here. And then an exhale to fold forwards. Keep checking in, low back hips. If there's any pinching sensation, then coming all the way back out. Otherwise, just letting the spine fold forwards. Keep charging the chest forwards. Head nice and heavy. You can stay here in Baddha Konasana A or transition into B, allowing the spine to round, more of a cat-like spine. Chin can drop down towards the chest. Shoulder blades kind of melt away from each other. Elbows can rest on the inner shins. Creating a little cave for yourself. And just the rest, recuperate. Feeling towards the outside, back or sides of your rib cage here. Last 2 breaths here. And carefully, when you finish that last breath, I'm just going to roll the spine all the way up to seated. And once you've lifted the head all the way up, we're going to bring the hands to guide the knees all the way back together. Slide the legs forwards. Give them a little shake if you want. And then make sure you've got your block handy. We're going to transition into a restorative or a yin posture. So if you've got the flat bricks, make sure both are stacked on top of each other. If you've got more of the brick-like bricks, you can just have one brick handy. If you like to use a blanket as well, you might want to keep that handy just to pop on top of the brick. And then we're going to lie back with the feet planted, knees pointing up towards the ceiling, coming into a constructive rest pose to begin with. Make sure you've got your block and your blanket of reaching distance. Feel the shoulders release down and towards the ground, slight tuck of the chin. We'll transition into happy baby from here. So as we inhale, draw the knees in towards the chest. Exhale, use the hands to separate out the knees. So the knees move towards the direction of the armpits. Slide the hands down the length of the shins towards the outer edges of ankles, maybe outer edges of feet. Some people like to take peace fingers around the big toe, thumb resting on the big toenail. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, soles of the feet point up towards the ceiling, and there's a slight drawing down of the knees towards the direction of the armpits or the earth. So you really feel that opening up through the hips. Maybe make it into a little bit more of a happy baby. You might gently sway from side to side. Some people like to stay here, or maybe you want to bring a bit of movement into the legs. Keep the right leg as it is. We're going to straighten the left leg, press the heel out, and then exhale, rebending. And we'll go to the other side. Inhale, right leg straightens just as much as feels comfortable for you, pressing the heel away from you. And exhale to rebend. You can take that one at a time. Or maybe you do 2 at a time. So both legs start to straighten, press both heels away from you. And again, a little bend in both knees is fine as well. Take a breath in. And a breath out. Staying here. Or maybe we transition into our supported bridge when we're ready. So release the feet. Feet come down towards the earth. You can take a little windscreen wiper from side to side of the knees. Sometimes people like to do that just to kind of ground down through the feet a little bit, bring some movement into the low back. And then if you're like, oh, Tash, you know what? I kind of feel happy lying down on the back of the body. Absolutely fine. If you want to come into one last supported inversion. So again, we're working with the nervous system here, stimulating that relaxation response. We can bring the knees back through center. Scoot the feet a little bit closer towards the bum. So just making sure you can tickle the ankles. And then grab your block. Maybe you scoot a blanket on top of the block if you like that soft surface. Otherwise, just grabbing the block. I'm just going to show you with a block. Press down through the feet to lift the hips. Slide the block underneath the low back area. So the sacrum, just this bony part. You can kind of feel that bony part just above the bum. And then you can slide that block underneath. Rest the low back on towards the block. Should feel quite comfy. Otherwise, maybe just having a little scoot around, seeing what feels best. I'm going to be here for 5 minutes, so make sure you're comfortable. Arms can come down either side of the body. Maybe arms reach all the way back behind you. And you might stay here. Maybe at some point during the pose, you want to transition into Pon 2, a yin posture, where you lengthen both feet towards the front of the mat, straightening both legs. A little bit more of a stretch for the back of the body here. Make sure you're warm. Jumpers, blankets, something to cover the eyes might be helpful. Again, these are just things that can help you and they're not essential. So don't worry too much if you haven't got access to them right now. If you're feeling a little bit more anxiety through the body, you might want to place the palms on the belly. Supportive touch can be really helpful to soothe the physical body. Taking a breath in through your nose. And letting that breath go. And again, inhaling through your nose. Exhaling through your mouth. Last collective breath. Breathing in, filling the chest, the belly, the lungs. Exhaling, letting go. Letting go. Letting go. Letting go. Continuing to breathe in and out through your nose. Knowing that you can always rebend the legs if you've got the legs straight at any time. And silence and stillness is really what we need right now. So I'm going to leave you here in some silence for the next 4 minutes. Letting yourself rest and breathe. 3 more breaths in here. Taking a breath in through your nose. Exhale however feels most comfortable for your body. And again, once more, inhaling through your nose. Exhaling, letting go. When you feel ready to move, we're going to transition into our Shavasana from here. So bend the legs if they're not already bent. Pressing down through the feet to lift the hips off your block. Slide the block to one side so that you can drape the low back, mid back, upper back down towards the ground. Any last movements you want to take, feel free. Make sure you're warm here. So it's quite cold at the moment in England. So if you want a jumper or a blanket, grab those. And I'm going to offer out an option for a slightly different Shavasana. If you're comfortable lying on the back of the body, absolutely fine. You come to lie down, palms facing up or facing down, maybe even the palms on the body itself. Sometimes when I'm experiencing a lot of anxiety, it doesn't feel quite nice to lie down on the back of the body, in which case I come to one side. So bend the knees, more of a kind of fetal position. Let the bottom arm stretch out. Maybe you rest the head on the left upper arm, right upper arm, whichever side you're on. Or another option is to bring a blanket underneath the head. If you've got access to a cushion or a pillow, you can hug the cushion or the pillow and then just rest the head down. It's a little bit more of a kind of safety position here. Sometimes can feel quite soothing when you're feeling a bit more anxious or stressed than normal. I want you to create a container for your safety, for your comfort. Letting yourself rest and breathe here. Let me keep time for you. Enjoy this moment of nurturing and taking care of yourself. Let the breath gently deepen. Let your senses awaken. A little swallow of the mouth. If you're on your side, you can stay there absolutely fine. I will end the video, or you can just allow the video to end if you're doing it on demand. You want to come out of this posture, you can roll onto the back of the body and take a little stretch out. Gentle full body stretch. And then we'll draw both knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a nice big hug. And keep the blanket on top of you if you've got the blanket on top of you. And then just roll yourself up to seated. So you can roll to one side or come up to seated. We're going to bring the hands back into Hridaya Mudra at the heart space, one palm on top of the other. And we're going to end with a prayer, a loving kindness prayer. So gently repeating to yourself in your head, may I be well, may I be safe, may I be free, may I be at ease. And we're going to kind of spread these well wishes to all beings around the world at the moment. May all beings be well. May all beings be safe. May all beings be free. May all beings be at ease. Take a breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. Take it easy, have a sip of water or tea, and I'll see you very soon. I'm just going to end the video now.